love a cup of coffee when it is cold outside. So we are gonna actually have to run to the store and grab a few parts for our install. And obviously you guys see the description down below. Yes, we are putting on the Prinsu roof rack on my 2023 Colorado ZR2. This will fit from 2015 all the way to 2025. So if you guys are in the market for a roof rack, check these guys out. These guys have been in the game for a pretty long time. No, this video is not sponsored. Well, technically it is, but not through Prinsu. It is from Overland Kings. So if you guys go to overlandkings.com, you guys can use my my discount code, always different. You guys get some product, get a discount on it. We got a roof rack in, so we're gonna open this up and see all the parts that come with it, make sure we have everything. And it is about 18 degrees outside. I do have my little diesel heater going, and that thing actually pumps out some heat. So once it kind of gets the garage warmed up, we'll be all right. But if not, not a big deal. But it's just enough heat to keep me toasty. So let's just jump inside and see what this thing all has to offer. So first off, I wanted to say, because I know it's going to be in the comments, or at least ask, is this going to void warranty? Yes, you are drilling into the top of your roof. So if you have a water leak, it's on you. No way around that. So unfortunately, Chevy doesn't give you any, or gives aftermarket companies any other option besides to drill in. You're drilling about a 3/8 hole and doing some rivnuts up there, and then but you're going to use some like RTV or some silicone. So you're going to want to go get yourself some of this, some gasket maker, and you're also going to want to probably go get yourself some cutting oil. So first, let's assemble the actual rack itself, and then test fit it to make our holes. This should be a pretty simple, easy install to do. The hardest part is just drilling up top, but as long as you make your holes right, everything should line up. So first we're gonna assemble the actual rack itself. So I will say it comes with obviously your rails, your two side rails, your weather strip, your main wind deflector, and then the silver one is gonna be with the wind deflector. And then it does come with two stickers. You get your hardware pack. It does come with some Loctite. Comes with all your nuts and bolts, and then when we go down, I'm going to explain this this big giant nut. Come with some hardware for your wind deflector. That's going to be all used on the silver rail. So this is what that is for. So we'll toss that in the front. This is for obviously for the truck itself. But right now we are going to be using this bag with the thread lock. You're going to grab your 4mm Allen key, screw, washer, and a little bit of purple Loctite. Just enough to get it on there, and then go down and do all sides first. You don't need to crank them down tight, because we're going to be taking this on and off of the top of the truck. So unfortunately, my time lapse kind of cut out, so it stopped me like right about here, whatever. But this is how you're gonna want to do it. The gray one's up front, or the silver one's up front. You're gonna go black. There's like little tiny 2-inch holes or an inch hole, you know, for your cross beams. So I went every other one. I skipped going over to the where you're gonna basically be putting your rivnuts at, just so they're not in the way of when we go to install that. We'll install the 3 basically when we're done. So now we got to pull off the weather strip, or the little plastic piece on top. So we're going to be taking off both sides of this weathering strip over here. If you don't have, this will probably make it so you don't really scratch the top. Go get yourself a little trim tool basically, and you're just going to basically push it down in here, and then kind of wiggle it in, and then kind of pull up. Right here. So you have these little tiny knobs that are actually holding on to this weather strip, which is these little guys right here. What you're trying to do is just not breaking these things, but just enough where you can get your little trim tool underneath here. I found it easier, instead of trying to go from the side and try to pop it up, trying to dig it under and just lift up around this little tab. We are going to be measuring about 7 inches from this little corner, and you're going to want to measure on the angle 7 inches up to here, and then I'll mark it and then I'll set the rack on top. It's pretty light. So I'm going to start with the very front as my anchor point. I'm going to do this side, and then I'm going to go do the passenger side, just the very front one, to help get everything else aligned. And then I'm going to mark the rest of the holes. One thing to remember is that underneath if you go too far, you can puncture through the headliner. And also remember that there is an airbag in here, so just be careful. If you need to pull down the weather strip to help, feel, but you only need to go through the first really layer of the actual top itself. So this is the decision if you want to void warranty or not. So this is kind of your last decision before you decide to go down the rabbit hole. You can pay somebody. I don't pay people, especially when I know I can do it. So. And it's not my first rodeo on puncturing holes into a vehicle. So just remember, go get yourself some. Do not use this. I would not recommend using a step bit. I would use regular bits. Go to AutoZone, or not AutoZone. Go to Home Depot or anywhere is locally, Ace Hardware, wherever. Get yourself. Basically, I would personally get some fresh bits, and we're going to go up to a 3/8. I would do it step by step. Do a small one, work your way up. So we are going to start right here. Like I said, you ain't going to hurt this thing, so just pull down, and there's your airbag. So just be careful. You shouldn't hit it, but just go through the little top layer and you'll be all right. If you need to do this slowly, do it slowly. Like I said, you don't need to go crazy deep. Here's your last chance. So while I was actually finishing up that first bolt that we've been working on, my battery died, and I didn't realize it because my head was facing down. So after you get your hole drilled out, you're going to need to find the longer bolt, 2 washers, and then this little spacer. What you're going to end up doing is then grabbing your insert, spin that on, and then you're going to grab a 13 mil and a 10 mil, and you're just going to crank this down while putting pressure down. You'll see on the next view that I do. So we got this corner done. Now we're going to go to the passenger side and do the exact same thing. I would highly recommend going to get yourself one of these concrete bits, because that sunk right on through. I was working on this one hole for probably a good hour. So now we got this done. I'm going to reinsert the bolt back in this side, and we're going to go over to that corner. So again, I'll just tighten this kind of down and kind of make sure wherever you marked your 7 inches on there, it kind of lines up. I looked and it was like spot on. So, and another highly recommendation, definitely start with the smallest bit you have and work your way up. Yeah, it's kind of a pain to swap in and out, but it made life a lot easier, especially going to this concrete bit. It literally just broke right on through. This is a pretty thick roof, so and you only have to go through the first layer. So as soon as it drops, let go. So yeah, let's just get on to the next. So it's like I said, after you got your hole drilled, you're gonna have it kind of set up like this. You have your bolt, your washer, your spacer, and then you're gonna have your nut insert. And then what you're gonna want to do is take your gasket maker and just squeeze a good amount, just so you can make a more of a waterproof kind of seal. Push down, and then as I hold this down, and then you are going to push down and twist. You don't want to go overly crazy because you don't want to make that spin either. And now you can put back the rack and mark all your other holes, and then we'll be finished. While you're marking, I would tighten down this side and the other side, and when we're all finished, we're going to put another bead of gasket maker on these black spacers. Now that we have this all, both sides kind of as a template, we can go down and just, personally what I would do is just take your very small drill bit and tap right in the center of the slot here and do each one of them, but take your time. No rush, because this is kind of permanent. So yeah, let's start tapping. So now we are back to putting all our rib nuts. We got all the holes drilled out, which, and honestly, the hardest part are actually the front two, because I think there's probably more steel right here, right here, than there is anywhere else. All of them, the back ones, it wanted nice and smooth, but definitely go get yourself a good drill bit. I would highly recommend getting the like a concrete steel tip drill bits, because that made life a heck of a lot easier. So now we're moving on. We are back to putting our rib nuts in, and now it should all just go downhill from here. Again, this should be your setup. You have bolt, washer, your spacer, your rib nut, and then your little silicone right here, or your gasket sealer. I'm gonna get this on the other tripod and basically do a time lapse, so it's nice seeing how this is done. So we can just fly right through. So now that we're done with all the rib nuts, we can actually put the rack on and start bolting it down to the truck. So it's not really that hard of a job. The hardest part is just the first two bolts, or the first two rib nuts, is just drilling it out. Because I think there's extra metal in there, and it just makes it really tough. So I gotta swap out this battery. I see it's flashing red, and then we're gonna get the rack on the on top. So one thing I did forget to put on while it's on the ground is the weather strip. So this is actually just an aluminum. So if you have any like tin snips, it should be able to cut right through this. So what I'm doing is just basically taking this front part, putting it down there, and I'm gonna kind of mark where I think it's gonna be. Or if you go right in line with the bracket, it'll give you a good idea where to stop at. Don't worry about if these are out of place, because it will be. You can easily push up on these, and the only thing we'll have to do now is just put on our last poles and
actually really easy, except for like I said before, drilling into the top is kind of one of those you get scared to do, but then you just don't care. But that's me. But at the end of the day, it's done. It looks good. We're gonna go out and get some photos of it right now, and yeah, I greatly appreciate you guys. There's a reason why that had to go on, and we have a new rooftop tent that's been kind of hanging up there for a little bit. Fortunately, we're gonna have to get rid of this back rack. So that's gonna come in another video. So I greatly appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Please hit that like and subscribe. Peace out. Bye.